Martin Madrazo is a character that, in my opinion, is kind of overlooked, considering how important he is to the overall story of GTA 5. And today, figured why not to dig up everything that I can about this guy and do a complete video on his story. While his exact age and birthplace are not known, we know that Martin Madrazo is a Mexican national, and as far as his age goes, I'm going to make an assumption here and say that he could be in his late 50s or maybe early 60s. At an unknown point in his life, Martin Madrazo became the leader of a Mexican narcotics ring known around Los Santos. He was meant to be in court many times, but he never actually got convicted, as it's all but confirmed that he had all of the witnesses killed. Madrazo married his wife Patricia in 1983, after which they had a son named Miguel. It's known that Patricia and Madrazo don't have the best relationship, as he often ignores her and generally mistreats her, seeing her as only a housewife pretty much, along with having an affair with a Russian woman. Before the events of GTA 5's story, however, Madrazo hires the GTA Online protagonist to do many jobs for him, which mostly consists of the protagonist taking care of some of Madrazo's rivals, and I believe in a few instances in GTA Online we can actually see Madrazo at that same house that Michael pulled down in the story mode, and he's on the phone with his wife, obviously lying to her that he's playing golf. Fast forward to GTA 5 story though, Madrazo makes his first appearance when Michael and Franklin pulled down the house that I just briefly mentioned, because Michael, in his enraged state, thought that the owner of the house was the tennis coach. Michael then gets a phone call from the tennis coach saying that the house was not his. Madrazo's mistress takes the phone from him and freaks out at Michael, telling him that a hit has been put out on him, and Michael dismisses this, likely because he has no idea who Martin Madrazo even is, unlike Franklin, who was a lot more worried. After Michael and Franklin take out Madrazo's hitman, he himself shows up to Michael's house and calmly introduces himself, saying that Michael now owes him roughly $2.5 million. Also, real quick, if you're enjoying this video right now, leave a like on it and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as it would help me out a lot. We are trying to get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of this year, so please go ahead and help me make that happen. After this incident and before the jewel store job, Madrazo calls Michael and texts him on various occasions, growing more and more impatient every time. After Michael finally pays off his debt to Madrazo, he is shown to be glad that Michael kept his word. Later in the game, Madrazo calls Michael for a job, and while he initially wants Franklin to go along with Michael, instead of bringing Franklin, he brings in Trevor on the job. Little did both Michael and Madrazo know that bringing Trevor instead of Franklin would complicate things a lot, to say the least, but we'll get to that a little bit later. The duo meets with Martin on his ranch, and Martin wants them to kill his cousin, who was going to, guess what, testify against him. So Madrazo set up a gun in Vinewood Hills for Michael to use, and with it he shoots down the plane that Madrazo's cousin was on, after which Trevor follows that same plane through the desert and the rural area of San Andreas. He took out the cousin and retrieved the files like he was instructed. Upon returning to Madrazo's ranch with the important files that he got from the plane, Trevor demanded a payment, and Madrazo refused, to which Trevor got angry and not only kidnapped his wife, but he also cut off the man's ear. Michael and Trevor then had to go into hiding, of course, and they lived together in Trevor's trailer for a short amount of time. They eventually, as a peace offering, gave Martin an Aztec statue that they had to rob from a train. Also, Trevor had to end his romance with Madrazo's wife and return her home, but not before threatening Madrazo that he'll cut off his other ear if he mistreats his wife again, after which Madrazo agrees that it's better that he avoided Michael and Trevor from now on, being the fact that, you know, Trevor cut off his ear and all. And while Madrazo's wife does call Trevor, I believe twice after this, Madrazo himself is never seen again in the story mode of GTA 5. Fast forward again to 2020, Madrazo falls out with his supplier Juan Strickler, or El Rubio, who is, conveniently enough, for the protagonist at least, a rich mofo with a private island. They fell out, and El Rubio threatened Madrazo to leak some information about him to the DEA, and Martin put his son Miguel in charge of retrieving the files, and Miguel enlists the help of Pavel and the GTA Online protagonist. After the GTA Online protagonist steals the files, Miguel calls Martin and informs him that he has the files and asks his dad to get him a condo, but Martin hangs up on him, as for the files, trust me, you don't want to see that, I don't want to see that, and YouTube definitely does not want this shit on their website, and I also don't want this video to get taken down. So if you're still interested, do your own research on that, and if you still haven't played the Cayo Perico heist, if you have, then you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's it from this little short lore video about Martin Madrazo and his entire story. Until the next video stream, bye bye.